Oh, 4:02. Okay. I will go ahead and call the Finance Committee meeting of March 15th, Monday, March 15th to order. And I will begin with the script. We are now using Zoom webinar for meetings, which allows for the public to participate in the meeting as an attendee. Attendees must register to participate. The registration link is unique to the meeting. The registration link can be found in the description of the Nantucket Government TV YouTube live feed for the meeting. People registering to be an attendee must use their names, otherwise they will not be allowed to participate in the discussion. Attendees will join in listening mode. They can click the raise hand button if they wish to speak. The chair will call on those who have raised their hands in the order in which they were raised. The YouTube chat will no longer be enabled. All questions should be directed through the chair. As a preliminary matter, this is Denise Cronow, Chair of the Nantucket Finance Committee. Permit me to confirm that all members and persons anticipated on the agenda are present and can hear me. Members, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Peter McEachern.
Here.
Chris Glowacki.
Here.
Peter Schaefer.
Here.
Joe Grouse.
Here.
Stephen Morey.
Here.
Thank you. Staff, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Brian Turbot.
Present.
Thank you. Rick Sears.
Also present.
Terry Norton.
Present.
Thank you, Terry. Okay, Andrew Vorse.
Here.
Leslie Snell.
Here.
Thank you. Anticipated speakers on the agenda, please respond in the affirmative. Judith Wagner.
Here.
Thank you, Judith. Good afternoon. This open meeting of the Finance Committee is being conducted remotely, consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of March 12, 2020, due to the current state of emergency in the Commonwealth due to the outbreak of the COVID-19 virus. In order to mitigate the transmission of the COVID-19 virus, we have been advised and directed by the Commonwealth to suspend public meetings, and as such, the governor's order suspends the requirement of the open meeting law to have all meetings in a publicly accessible physical location. Further, all members of public bodies are allowed and encouraged to participate remotely. The order, which you can find posted with the agenda materials for this meeting, allows public bodies to meet entirely remotely so long as reasonable public access is afforded so that the public can follow along with deliberations of the meeting. Ensuring public access does not ensure public participation unless such participation is required by law. This meeting will feature public comment as previously noted. Please note that this meeting is being recorded and that all attendees are participating by video conference. Accordingly, please be aware that other folks may be able to see you and to take care not to screen share your computer. Anything that you broadcast may be captured by the recording. All supporting materials that have been provided members of this body are available on the town's website unless otherwise noted. The public is encouraged to follow along using the agenda posted. We are now turning to the first item on the agenda. Before we do so, permit me to cover some ground rules for effective and clear conduct of our business and to ensure accurate meeting minutes. I will introduce each speaker on the agenda. After they conclude their remarks, the chair will go down. I will ask everyone to raise their hand if they have questions or comments. Please remember to mute your phone or computer when you're not speaking. Please remember to speak clearly and in a way that helps generate accurate minutes. For any response, please wait until the chair yields the floor to you and state your name before speaking. And finally, each vote taken in this meeting will be conducted by roll call. Thank you. Okay, may I have an approval of the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Roll call, Peter McEachern,
Aye.
Chris,
Aye.
Peter Schaefer,
Aye.
Joe,
Aye.
Stephen,
Aye.
Joanna.
Aye.
Thank you. I will now open for public comment. And I will now close for public comment. Okay, so with the first item on the agenda, I will turn it over to Leslie and Andrew. Just as a reminder for Finance Committee, this process works exceptionally well with Andrew and Leslie. They just take us through what the articles are. Any questions, we ask them, and then we go on from there and off we go. So Leslie and Andrew, I'm turning the floor over to you, please.
Thank you very much. We appreciate the time, and hopefully members have the articles and the maps. So if I make references to that, those are available. Is that right? Okay, so zoning starts at Article 39. The first article is basically changing a commercial designation, C-Tech, to a residential designation R5. If you look at the map, you see there's an area, it's outlined in purple, and that follows a prior subdivision that existed on the site. The land is being developed for residential, so this zoning essentially matches what is being built. And no controversy regarding this article. It was unanimously recommended by the board.
Any questions from Finance Committee? Seeing none, may I have a motion?
Move approval.
May I have a second?
second,
Thank you. By roll call, I'll start with Joanna,
Aye.
Chris,
Aye.
Peter McEachern,
Aye.
Stephen,
Aye.
Joe,
Aye.
Peter Schaefer,
aye,
Denise, I unanimously endorse the planning board's motion. Thank you, Andrew. Number
Article 40,
May I ask a question?
Sure, Chris.
So are all the articles we're going through tonight all new since the town meeting of last year? Or are these articles that were also done for, are we covering both or?
I can point those out. I have a chart which shows, I'll flag the ones if they're different.
Right, but are we going through ones where we've already made motions?
So far, no, but yes.
But we are in this sitting
39
and,
39 and 40 are new ones,
okay, well, you'll point out as we go if we've already made a motion.
correct?
Okay, thank you.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Stephen.
I think I ought to have recused myself from Article 39, and I think that I'm making that statement now, that I'm recusing myself, and I think you should revote it
Okay.
without me.
Okay, thank you. Okay, may I have a motion on Article 39, please?
Motion to support the planning board.
second,
First, we have to reopen it, right? Then we have to make another
Yes.
motion. So we have the motion to reopen. That's the motion we just had. Is that
I'll
correct?
make that motion.
Thank you. May I have a second?
second,
Second.
Thank you. By roll call, Chris,
Aye.
Joanna,
Aye.
Joe,
Aye.
Peter McEachern,
Aye.
Peter Schaefer,
aye,
Denise, I. Okay, so now we've reopened it. May I have a motion on the article itself?
motion to accept,
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. And by roll call, Peter McEachern,
Aye.
Chris,
Aye.
Joanna,
Aye.
Joe,
Aye.
Peter Schaefer,
aye,
Denise, I. Unanimous. Thank you. Article 40, and this is a new article, Chris, for everyone, not just Chris.
Okay, so this article is similar in scope. This is changing the existing zoning RC2 to a residential designation. It's on Appleton Road, and as you can see on the map, it's pretty much surrounded on all sides by R5, which was changed at the last town meeting. So I believe the owners weren't finalized either with their permits or the decision-making. And so the R5 designation, they would join their abutting property owners in the same R5 district.
Any questions? No hands raised? May I have, and how did, yes, go ahead, Joe.
Just one quick, as a matter of procedure, especially considering a lot of these we're going to be agreeing with, and just to sort of save time and effort, do you think we could like do them and, if we go through 4 or 5 or 6, then do the vote for, Articles 40 through 44, as opposed to, given how cumbersome it is to have to do roll call votes for each one?
Sure,
I'm just
Right.
thinking it would save us a little bit of time.
that would be fine for me. So, Andrew, I'm assuming that the planning board had unanimous approval of this?
Unanimous, and there was no controversy regarding this.
So then we can go on to 41, which was carried over from last year. And
there's no change in or Leslie, is there a change in this one?
There is not a current change. Someone came forward after the hearing was closed and the vote was taken and said that they would like to be taken out. So we may be re-advertising that. We still have to work it out. But as of now, the motion that's printed that you have stands.
And our motion last year was to endorse the planning board's motion, in case anyone is forgetting. So therefore, I don't think we need to go, does anyone need to go back through it again? I see you shaking of heads, no. Okay, so we will go on to 42, which is a new article. Andrew,
So,
please.
yep, so Article 42, this changes existing residential designation from residential back to commercial. And both of these areas were changed by prior zoning amendments. And it's interesting that I think our original recommendation on both was that they go to commercial. The neighbors, the owners asked for residential instead. And now they are in agreement that they want it back to commercial, which was the original idea. So this has positive recommendation from the planning board and no controversial or no controversy. You see that these are on the edge or surrounded by existing commercial zoning regulations.
Are there any questions from Finance Committee? I see a shaking of heads, no. Okay, then let's go ahead and go on to 43. Please, Andrew.
So Article 43 was carried over. Was this carried over? I think it was, right?
I don't have it as carried over. Do you?
43?
Yeah.
That
Or did
was
we-
carried over,
It
yes.
was? Oh, I missed that one. See, that's why my spreadsheet isn't completely right, Leslie.
And I see that one's not labeled as being carried over on the warrant, but it was.
Okay,
43 was considered by the planning board last year. It was recommended. So again, the northern part of the land closest to Old South Road would be put in a commercial district, and the area to the south extending to Tacoma Way would be put in a residential district. The existing zoning RC2 is commercial. So this is consistent with our rezonings along the Old South Road corridor. This was unanimously endorsed, and there is no controversy regarding this article.
okay. Andrew, quick question. When it says 2R5 and or CN,
Right, so that's a single parcel of land, and so when we first put it in, it wasn't clear whether it would go towards one or the other, but the planning board motion has designated which portion of the lot on the map. So again, that front part goes to commercial and the back part goes to the residential R5.
oh, okay, okay, thank you.
And Denise or Andrew,
Yep.
if Article 43, if that's a carryover, did we vote to endorse the planning board motion a year ago, or do we have to sort of revote that one?
You voted to endorse.
Okay, so we don't need to, that one stays as is. We don't have to vote on it. Okay,
Well, we're doing them all in a block now anyway, Joe, so. We would have called them like we did on March 1st, remember, one by one, and then if they didn't get called, then they were reconfirmed, so we will effectively be reconfirming them now in the block
okay,
of 40 onwards.
okay.
So, yeah. 44, Andrew, please.
44, we're in the same block. So this is on Tom's Way between Tacoma and along Tom's Way. This area is currently zoned RC2 commercial. It is entirely residential in character. Its proposal is to go to R5 residential. And Leslie, I have to give Leslie a lot of credit for working with the neighbors and answering many questions about this particular proposal over the years. So finally, I think we're entirely done with this block and have RC2 phased out, which is part of the master plan, as you know.
And this was endorsed by this was approved by
Yep.
the board.
Unanimously endorsed and no controversy.
Okay, thank you. Any questions from Finance Committee? Shaking of heads, no. Okay. 45 then, please, Andrew.
So Article 45 is a carryover too, and I see that it's not listed as that.
Nope. Yep. I don't
This,
have it as a carryover either.
this was unanimously recommended at last year's town meeting. It was called at the town meeting and carried forward. We've made some adjustments to the final map by eliminating, there were two properties that either were halfway through permitting or had some further concerns. Those were eliminated out. There had been, I think, Leslie, I know you dealt with a lot of the owners here, and I believe there was no controversy after the elimination of those two property owners. Is that right?
A lot of the property owners initially had questions and concerns, but the CN district works much better for a lot of the condos that are in there. And I'm not aware of any opposition.
This was unanimously voted by the commission again, and no change here. And this is a commercial to commercial district, so.
Any questions from FinCom? No, thank you. 46, please, Andrew.
46 is, this is an area out on Hummock Pond Road. There's two situations at play here. Number one, the R20 zoning district, which is a half-acre zoning district, which by our structuring of the bylaw is consistent with the town district, not the country district where this is located. And the other thing that you'll see how the zoning line kind of follows a squiggly pattern through these lots. That's a split zoning district that followed a topographical line that doesn't exist anymore. So the proposal here is to bring all of these properties into one zoning district consistent with the country overlay. That's the village residential district. There was, I think, some concern and opposition from some of the neighbors here. I don't know if all of the questions were answered. The commission voted to endorse this unanimously after the end of the hearing. So the biggest change in this particular area is ground cover is reduced from 12.5 to 10%. But we did find that that was consistent with, again, the zoning changes that have happened really across the island since the adoption of the master plan, and that it did not put many of these properties into nonconformity while still leaving some areas for future additions.
That was going to be my question, if any of the properties then became non-conforming once this was changed. So no.
Leslie, I know you have more specific information.
I do, and I actually don't have the spreadsheet that shows that Andy right now, but my recollection is that it was maybe less than 5 total to become non-conforming, and most of the properties had a significant amount of ground cover left over, even with the reduction from 12.5 to 10%.
Any other questions from Finance Committee?
Am I reading
Go ahead,
the
Chris.
map? Thank you. Am I reading the map correct? That's VR to the southwest of there, pre-existing?
Yeah, yes, we did that. Basically, that lower end of Mothball Way and the end there was adopted, I think, 2 years ago. Is that right?
Okay, thanks.
And if you look slightly to the northeast, you see there's another cluster of village residential next to the VN and VTech. It's kind of under the I guess the insert map.
Just out of curiosity, Andrew or Leslie, do these changes for this particular tracts of land, do they increase the owner's ability to subdivide or develop, or do they in the main restrict the owners of these properties from future, subdivision and or development opportunities.
So basically, it's the same lot size, so I think the frontage is increased, but it's the same minimum lot size applies.
Okay.
So it's fairly neutral in that regard.
Thanks.
Are there any other questions? What I'd like to do now is actually vote or make a motion on 40 to 46 as a tranche, so I can stay on one page and not have to flip back and forth. Joe, I'm happy to accommodate some amount of consolidation, but please don't.
Okay, we'll have to take 3 votes.
I've already saved you 6 votes, Joe, so I've got 6
I know.
down to 1. You already have a huge savings here.
All right.
May I have a motion on Articles 40 to 46, please?
So moved.
And the motion is to endorse the
Adopt,
planning board's
yes.
motion. Thank
Endorse,
you.
adopt, yes.
May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. By roll call, Peter McEachern.
Aye.
Thank you. George,
Aye.
Chris, Stephen,
Aye.
Joanna,
Aye.
Joe,
Aye.
Peter Schaefer,
Aye.
Denise, I. Thank you. Okay. All right. Second page.
So Article 47, technical amendments. This is Leslie's specialty article, so I'm going to turn this over to her.
Thank you, Andrew. Leslie?
So in Article 47, these are mostly corrections where we've updated the bylaw in some other section and didn't get it updated throughout. In the first one, the definition of apartment, we've made a couple of changes throughout the years to attempt to make it clear that the rule that only 50% of the first floor area only applies to a commercial structure. So if you want to put in an apartment, the idea is that you keep the character of the commercial area commercial. And somehow it keeps getting interpreted that any structure on a commercial lot that has an apartment has to have at least 50% of the first floor area commercial, when it's really only a single structure that has to meet that. So that's maybe a little bit confusing, but that's the first one. In qualified family member, we're making a minor change there that says for, oh, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong thing. Number 2, qualified family member. We updated the secondary lot section of the bylaw to remove any references to primary lots, but that was left in the definition of qualified family member. So we're just cleaning that up. In number 3, the idea here is that if you want to divide your lot into covenant lots, the way the bylaw reads now, it can be interpreted as one lot has to be market rate and one lot has to be restricted to the covenant. What we want to do is make it clear that if you want to place a covenant on both lots, you can do that. So that would increase affordability. Section 4, a prior year, we did a major cleanup to the site plan review section of the bylaw. But some of the old language was left in section 12G, which is the MyPod. So we're cleaning that up. Number 5 and number 6, both of those changes follow some changes to the Zoning Act that were picked up other places in the bylaw, but the old language was left here. So that's just making it consistent with the statute. And then number 7, which is a technical change to the zoning map, portions of the lots listed now include what was a paper road. And the paper road portion of the lot was in the R40 district, but the rest of the lot was in R1. So this would just place all of those properties entirely in the R1 district. And that's I guess a policy that the board has been following to try to place lots entirely in a single district. easier for permitting and other things.
Thank you, Leslie. Questions for Leslie? No? Okay. I am assuming that the planning board endorsed this unanimously.
Yes.
Thank you, Leslie. Okay. As the next one is swimming pool, and this is where we diverged last year from planning board. I'd like to go ahead and do the motion for 47 before we go to 48, and then we can go back to our block style voting, starting with 49, please, Joe. So let's start with, can I please have a motion for 47?
So made.
Thank you. And that's to endorse the planning board's motion. And may I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Peter McEachern,
Aye.
George,
Aye.
Chris,
Aye.
Joanna,
Aye.
Joe,
Aye.
Stephen,
Aye.
Peter Schaefer.
Aye.
Thank you, Denise. Aye. Okay, that passes unanimously. Okay, 48. Who will lead on this one? Is it Leslie or Andrew? This is the carryover from last year, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And is it exactly the same as it was last year?
It is.
Okay. All right.
We don't know if you'll consider.
No,
I guess-
I'm interested to have Judith, just Judith, if you would like to. I mean, last year, as you well know, the Finance Committee did not endorse the planning board's motion on this. And as the article is exactly the same, is there anything new you would like to share with us, Judith, before we open it up for questions for the Finance Committee?
We added a further comment to try to clarify the comment, hoping that that would be useful. So the text of the proposal is the same, but we tried to be clear for anyone who found it unclear previously. Again, this is something the planning board's worked over for, I think, 3 years now. It's much narrower than it had been historically. I think last year there was some continuing mix of discussion that didn't necessarily tease out what had been proposed by a citizen article the year before. So this only addresses lots under 7,500 square feet. It's only in certain designated areas, not the island as a whole. The board, as it discussed it, really is providing property owners with an option if they can, if they have 7,500 square feet, have either a secondary and a primary house or a pool and a house. Our main concerns were things like the fact that in Nantucket, the underlying structure of a swimming pool doesn't count toward the ground cover, even though it's impervious, so that if you have a lot of pools and there's water coming down with heavy downpours and things like that, particularly in an area that's increasingly built out, which is true with this one, there is a risk of runoff onto adjacent properties and risk of flooding to those other properties. In addition, noise and lights affecting neighbors is a concern underlying here. So the focus is on increasing setbacks to allow more space between the pool and the adjacent properties. And I think that's the thrust of it. I appreciate the opportunity to be here. I think you may remember the prior year I had to be out of town when you had your original discussion on this, so I couldn't be here for your initial discussion and wanted to be here today if there's questions. And thanks again to Leslie, did a lot additional data work up about number of swimming pools and things of that sort. I don't know if you have it with Leslie, but those were some of the questions I wanted to ask this first, and there's interest on to that.
Thank you, Judith. Okay, so now we already made a motion last year, which is the Finance Committee did not endorse the planning board's motion on this article. So we would first need a motion to reopen our motion, because this is a carryover from prior year. Do I have, is anyone making the motion to reopen our last year's motion? Okay, thank
No.
you. In which case our motion from last year will stand when we vote this with part of the block. Thank you, Judith. Thank you, Leslie and Andrew. Okay, Article 49.
So Article 49 is a new citizen article. This is basically changing a portion of the existing RC2 commercial zone to the commercial neighborhood zone. This is out at Bartlett Farm. And then changing a small portion that's zoned LUG2 to the commercial neighborhood zone. This is essentially as you're driving up along Bartlett Farm Road on your right-hand side. And then taking the fields on the left-hand side, which are in the commercial zone, and moving them to the LUG2, which is a 2-acre zone. So it's essentially removing the commercial zone on the left-hand side of the street where there's existing farm fields, and updating the zoning on the right-hand side to reflect the really the use, the commercial neighborhood type use that's there. This has unanimous support from the planning board, and there was no controversy regarding this article. Consistent with the master plan for that phasing out of RC2. We actually very much appreciate John Bartlett working on this. So.
Thank you, Andrew. Any questions? Okay, we'll add that to our block. All right, number 50, please.
So Article 50 is Young's Way. This is an area that is currently in the residential 5 zoning district and is proposed to go to the commercial neighborhood district. This article, hold on. This is actually an existing commercial use. This is where the gym is located, and this is another example of a property that we said really belonged in this district, and the owners preferred to go to residential, and now have rethought that. So, and the planning board unanimously supports this, and there was no controversy regarding this change.
Any questions on this for Andrew? Okay, 51, please, Andrew.
Article 51 is a single lot in Sconset. The homeowner put an article to extend the Sconset Residential 1 district across Clifton Street to include this. The board gave this a negative recommendation because it felt that it needed to, Sconset is entering a small area plan update, and that rather than take one parcel at a time, we wanted the neighborhood to consider the impact to, of all these particular lots in the area. So gave this a negative recommendation, and I believe that was unanimous. Is that right, Leslie?
And there was also a butter that was opposed to this change as well. That's correct, right, Leslie? She shared the. Okay, any questions for anyone on FinCom? Okay, thank you. 52, please.
So 52 was continued from last year.
Oh, yeah, and we supported the planning board motion last year. So
Right, and there's no change to that.
Okay, unless someone wants to reopen that. do not see any hands raised. Okay. 53 is also from last year where Finance Committee supported the planning board motion. We already made a motion on that.
Right, and a replacement article was, basically the board gave that a negative recommendation, and the property owner submitted a different concept that the board eventually adopted, but so yes, we would stick with our no, to take no action on this one.
Okay. Okay. And so 54 is the new one from Mr. Van Kampen.
Right, so the problem with 53 of last year, it was changing a residential area to a commercial zoning district. His revised proposal is to change from residential to residential and to basically extend the town overlay district to cover this particular area. This is an area, this is a transitional area the board found between, there's commercial on the opposite side of the street, basically the Island Lumber property. These are properties that basically face that. There are several interspersed commercial uses now, like the Don Allen inspection station and the cable vision. This now, Article 54, the board has given a positive recommendation. I believe that was unanimous. Judith or Leslie, yes? Oh, no, it was divided.
I believe that
I
was.
think it was one no.
One. Yep.
4-1.
Yes.
Were there abutters on this? I don't.
No. My recollection had to do with the negative comment was from the land council about how this area might affect further parcels over toward Maya Comet if you started to change in this area. But the board overall thought that it really was appropriate given the character of the area to make the change. And I think it's the next one that we'll get to, that there's some further limitations proposed by the property owner to limit the development potential.
So 54 had a positive recommendation from the planning board.
Positive recommendation, yes.
Okay, thank you.
And there's very little impact. I mean, it's the same lot size. It's the main, I guess, change is that it does provide a slight increase in ground cover, which is the main reason, main motivation for this article to be submitted.
Okay. Any further questions from Finance Committee? And I see none. Okay, 55, please, Andrew, which is a new one.
Leslie, I'm gonna pass this one to you since I wasn't there for this.
So this is a citizen petition to rezone 2 properties from LUG1, which is basically a 1 acre zoning district, to R20, which is almost a ½ acre zoning district. And one of the 2 properties had lot division potential for possibly up to 3 lots. They didn't have a survey, so we couldn't confirm that, but they agreed to limit the future potential to 1 new lot. They're doing some estate planning and it's consistent with the surrounding area and it's consistent with the article that the board supported, 54. So
55.
we did get a positive recommendation from the planning board. They agreed, the owner agreed to work with town council on a deed restriction enforceable by the town that will be executed before town meeting and held by town council in the event that it's approved.
And I think there was 1 dissent on this, right, Leslie?
I think so, yes.
Okay. Thank you. Questions? No questions. Thank you. Then 56, I'm assuming it's the same flavor of discussion, Leslie?
56 was replaced by the prior article. So 56 has a motion to take no action.
Okay. Thank you. 57 is a new article as well.
So Article 57 was a proposed residential to residential zoning change. It's on the edge of property bordered by the Richmond Development Company. The board felt that this particular change was not warranted, and this was given a no action. I don't know the final vote total on that. I believe it was unanimous.
So help me understand on the zoning articles, when you say take no action versus motion not to adopt, what's the difference?
I think we've followed a model of no action all along.
Oh, so it's always no action, not, you never have a motion not to adopt,
Not on these,
not on zoning.
on zoning maps. There are some other policy decisions where we have taken stronger, a motion not to adopt, but generally on these.
Okay, no, I was just trying to understand if there was a difference between motion not to adopt, meaning don't ever do it, or right now take no action and we might revisit it in the future. I was trying to understand if there was a distinction between the motions. Okay, any questions? No questions, okay. 58, please.
58 is a proposal to change zoning located the corner of Airport Road and Old South Road. The current zoning is R20, which is a residential district. And the proposal is to move to commercial trade, entrepreneurship, and craft, which is known as CTEC. CTEC is like a home-based business district where it encourages a mixture of, on-site housing and commercial together. I believe in the board's deliberation on this, they felt that there was a shortage of that particular kind of land, and this location on a busy road lent itself to some commercial utilization. The commercial neighborhood district, which was also part of the original article, was considered too intense for this area. So the board has made a recommendation to go to CTEC instead. Anything else to add on that, Judith or Leslie?
I think the party interested in it was talking about possible landscape operation use. So it seemed more suitable for this kind of classification. For the reason you said, not so intensive and more suitable for possibly somebody living there as well as operating that kind of business.
Thank you. Any questions from Finance Committee? George?
Yes, is this are we talking about the lot that is on the western side of Airport Road where it intersects Old South Road?
Yes, as you turn there, right?
Okay, thank you.
So as you turn off of Old South Road onto Airport Road, is it on the right or the left? Because, my Boy Scout days are behind me.
It's on the right. It's the right-hand side. So yeah,
Thank you.
right on Old South and on your right on Airport.
Yep. Okay, thank you. Because the other place has statues in it. So I was wondering how they were going to put a landscaping business around those statues.
Well, yeah.
Okay, thank you. And 59, and this is not a sewer article. This is a zoning article for the Finance Committee. If they're wondering why we're discussing, it's a zoning article.
Right. So there's a companion sewer article. This particular zoning article changes this property from its current LUG1 designation to R40, which is a town overlay district designation. It's the same basic lot size. This property is on the edge of the current zoning, so it's LUG1 in one area, R40 in the other. Again, I was not here for this level of discussion, but I believe the planning board did recommend this unanimously. And maybe Judith or Leslie can help with the discussion.
I think it was unanimous.
George? Thank you, Judith.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that the property in question is not abutting the R40. I think there's another property between the one that's applying for the district change and where that's a R20 an R well it's a 2 acre plot, and so I'm a little confused about how that can be.
No, it does abut it, George. It's directly to the west is the R40 zone,
Okay.
and across the street, and directly
Yeah.
across the street.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Lug 2 is all the land behind, basically to the south.
Mm-hmm.
And Andrew, they need the R40 designation in order to be eligible to apply for being in the sewer district? Is that why they're changing it from 1 acre to 1 acre, basically?
The sewer was a consideration for where that line was, and I believe that their intent is to connect to sewer. Is that right?
So, and this was approved, planning board and unanimously approved.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, Joe, I'm going to try to do something bold and just turn the page so we can do it all in one block.
No, Denise, no.
Turning the page, Joe, just for you.
I was just about to make a motion. Okay.
Don't start with me. Okay, number 60 was from last year, and it was Finance Committee supports the planning board motion. Was there any changes to it as it's showing up? Nope, okay.
No change.
Does anyone have any questions before we move on to 61, which was also last year? It's carryover, and Finance Committee supports planning board motion last year. So any comments or? No, okay. 62.
No change. That was from last year as well.
The island perimeter restrictions?
Yep.
That was the same. as
No, I don't,
The new one.
no, this is the land council's one.
Oh,
Andrew.
sorry. I apologize. Yep.
That's a new one. Val Oliver is last year.
Yep,
This is
yep,
Emily
sorry.
Molden.
This article, but yes, by Emily Molden Land Council. This article was unanimously supported by the planning board.
Okay. And has there been any objections to this article from anyone in the discussion? Okay. Any questions about this from Finance Committee? Nope, okay.
Nope.
All right. I can't keep up with my rating fast enough here. Last year, 63, Finance Committee supports planning board motion. Any changes to this article since, well, it can't be, I guess. Andrew?
The only change, Madam Chair, is that the proponent or the principal proponent stated they didn't want to continue with this article. So,
Okay.
So that's reflected in our comment.
Okay. So this will end up with a take no action effectively. Leslie's nodding yes. Okay. And Rick Hatherton's, last year FinCom supports the planning board motion on this. So unless someone wants to reopen it, that would be, and no one does. Okay. All right, let's recap. We are going to be making a block motion for 48. Okay, let me say, let's do it this way. And there goes my dogs. 48, 49, 50, all had positive motions from planning board. 51, negative recommendation. 52, positive. 53, negative recommendation. 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 54, 55, positive recommendation. 56, 57, take no action. 58, positive recommendation, 59, positive. 60, 61, same as last year, 62, positive, 63, take no action effectively, and 64, I think it was take no action, if I remember correctly, on Mr. Atherton's zoning bylaw amendment from last year, and we supported the Finance Committee motion. So with that, do I have a motion to endorse all the motions I just read out loud?
So moved.
Thank you. May I have a second?
second,
Thank you. Peter McEachern.
Aye.
Thank you. Peter Schaefer.
aye,
Joe.
Aye.
George.
Aye.
Joanna.
Aye.
Chris.
Aye.
We lost Stephen, and Denise, aye. Okay. So thank you for those. Thank you, Judith, Andrew, and Leslie. Chris?
Yeah, may I ask a question about 47?
No?
No?
That boat has sailed.
I like a strong chair. Hey.
That boat has sailed, Chris. Yes, of course you
I'm-
can. Please
I'm
do.
just,
so.
I'm just confused because in the motion, it talks about a technical amendment, but what is the map? There's a map for 47 by Red Mill and Old Mill Court. How does the map relate to the article?
So there are strips, very small strips of each one of those properties that used to be part of a paper road. Now they've been incorporated into the lot. And the paper road was in one district and the rest of the buildable lot was in a different district. So it's just adding little strips to the R1 district so that the entire lot, the paper portion or paper road portion that the owners acquired.
Yeah.
in the
Was
same-
that part of a yard sale program in years past? Is that?
No.
No.
It was really just an oversight where it picked up on an old, I think it was an easement that existed through there. It should have really, the zoning line should have gone for the whole property.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate that.
Thank you, Chris. Anything else? Okay, so that brings a close to that section of the agenda. The next section of the agenda is review and discussions of any other articles, but as we've been scheduling them and there is no one here to raise their hand about that, I will move on to the date of our next meeting, which is tomorrow at 4 o'clock, where we will go through the real estate articles plus the Article 9, the Contract Review Committee's recommendations. And we all have the report to look after, and Dorothy will be presenting. Right, Brian? Did we get that agreed this time? Dorothy's coming tomorrow, and we're making the motion on the 25th after the allocation of the marijuana monies.
Yes, she will be here tomorrow to present, and that's correct.
Okay, so will be no motion on Article 9 tomorrow. It's just the presentation of the report.
That's correct.
Welcome back. So, okay. All right, with that, may I have is there any other questions under other business? Anybody have any questions or comments before I adjourn ask for an adjournment? I'm actually going to remember to ask to adjourn the meeting today. That'll be a first for me. It's Monday. I'm a little bit perkier.
So moved. I move to adjourn the meeting.
Thank you, Joanna.
second,
Thank you. Okay, Peter McEachern,
Aye.
Peter Schaefer,
aye.
Joe Grouse,
Aye.
George Harrington,
Aye.
Joanna Roche,
Aye.
Stephen Maury,
Aye.
Chris Glowacki.
Aye.
As always, Terry, Brian, Rick, thank you so much for your support. Libby, thank you. Judith, thank you for being here. And Andrew and Leslie, as always, thank you very much for making this a productive process for us. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Good night,
everyone.
all.
Bye.
Night.
Night.
Good night. Thank you.